Hello, hi, and welcome again to the Terminal Podcast, where in the end, it's all about the numbers. The number six isn't as spectacular as five when it comes to looking back, but that's what we'll be doing this series four, three, two, one, looking back to 2018 and the original publication of the rap debut album tournament, or the RDAT. My guests tonight have reviewed some parts of the articles posted on martinkester.com and dropped into the terminal to continue the ever evolving conversation like civilized citizens. So let's start with where you're calling in from and a simple request. Your best one note to Diddy. It can be a quick joke at the expense of the dead, like Black Rob dying homeless. That's whoa. I had to share that one with something as possible. I'm sorry. It still makes me laugh. Or a question like, why not create a mini Harlem in a non-extradition country? But you'll have your own time for yours. Will work from my right to my left. So Fuzz,
I'm calling in from Washington, D.C. Diddy had what, 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
Yeah.
All right, Diddy, it's time to do a King Von. Go in there, tell him you're gay. There won't be a debate this time. If you're lying or not, we'll know. But get out of general population. You're going to prison. The Bamas don't use lube, Diddy. It's not your type of party. Get into PC quickly.
all right. Kenny,
Hey, what's going on, everyone calling in from Atlanta? My big question is why not just stay in Bali with Russell Simmons? He's not coming back to the United States anytime soon. So y'all could have been roommates and just lived your lives together.
thank you very much. And Ed,
It's Ed Molina. I'm coming straight out of Brooklyn. And why didn't we believe 50 Cent when he was warning us all this time?
see, these are questions. Um, but like I said before earlier, Diddy's a whole separate thing. The second article in the RDAT series is tournament seedings and brackets. And I get to say this, it would be behind the beat to it, but I'm probably gonna end up saying it as he did, which is this is sponsored by old white men who are running this rap shit. Corporate forces are running this rap shit. Some tall Israeli is running this rap shit. Cocaine is running this rap shit. Dro, Yak, and E Pills is running this rap shit. MTV is running this rap shit. Viacom, AOL, and Time Warner are running this rap shit. Hennessy and quasi homosexuals are running this rap shit. This list is brought to you by Yassine Bey, aka Mos Def from The Rape Over, which actually, if you do Apple Music, they only have the edited version, which does not include that. But it's a verse that's been washed away, a passage remembered only by those who were there to experience it or bought the CD like I did when it came out. Kind of like Mos Def. He's still out and about, arguably a top 20 all-time MC. Black on Both Sides is a top 20 all-time album. But according to the RDAT rules, Mos Def and Talib Kweli, our Black Star, is his rookie debut. Therefore, Black on Both Sides is out. Since this turned into recorded chaos last time, I'll give you guys a chance to just, is there anything you want to say about the rules? Not an album that's going to be missed or anything like that, but the rules specifically before we begin.
I'll start.
Go ahead.
As a wrestling fan, I'm used to the Earl Hebners of the world. I'm used to Mexican Rudo refs, and I just want to put it on record that you, Martin, are a Rudo ref. You are a Rudo referee. That's all.
I don't even know the rules.
There are no
I agree with
rules.
that.
There are no rules. You know whose
Good then.
rules? They're my rules because they're actually the rules that were written in 2018. So they've got the cement of 5 years of existence. Not that that's any kind of anything other than time, but
I generally need 7
you need seven what?
years.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
You give
I'm
me
just saying.
5.
I'm just saying these rules did not age well. This is not fine wine. This is rotten cheese rules. But that's all
Eh,
right, man. I work with what I got.
well,
I'll
well,
make nacho out of it.
I'll I usually will go. I'm gonna go from the top down. Here's the official 2018 RDAT rap debut album tournament seedings. The number one seed, as stated almost in the premise, is Nas and Illmatic. Number two, Wu-Tang Clan, Enter the 36 Chambers. The number three, Eminem, the Slim Shady LP. Number four, Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. Number five, Kanye West, The College Dropout. Number six, 50 Cents, Get Rich or Die Trying. Number seven, Black Star, Mos Def and Talib Kweli are Black Star. Number eight, Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die. Number nine, DMX, It's Hard, It's Dark, I'm sorry, and Hell is Hot. Number 10, Eric B. and Rakim, Paid in Full. Number 11, Run DMC, Run DMC. Number 12, Outcast, Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Music. Redman, What the Album is number 13. Number 14, Lupe Fiasco, Food and Liquor. Number 15, Beastie Boys, License to Ill. Number 16, Black Sheep, A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Number 17, Big Pun, Capital Punishment. Number 18, The Last Edition, Smith & Wesson, The Shining. Having seen the list and heard me just reciting it, it's only got 6 years, so it's not up to your 7 year standard, Fuzz. But before picking that apart, you guys had the last call. There were albums that were missed. So I put it on each of you. What album do you think is missing and where does it go? It can't just be it's missing. It's got to be it's missing and where does it go on this list? So who would like to start first? You all seem very eager. So Fuzz, you've been eager enough. You go first. Where you gotta go where it goes though. Go
I mean,
ahead.
do you want me to bring up old stuff or new stuff? I have
One
two.
I
one
say go
album.
new. I say
I
go
I
new.
say I say you go one album at a time. We're not gonna have so everybody can get a say and we can come back around. So one album at a time.
So I'm gonna do a new one if nobody else is. Everybody. All right.
No, it's
So
on you.
all right. Well, because there's so many nuances I don't know about this one.
Okay.
Um, but I kind of feel like Tana Talk 3 was Benny the Butcher's first album. Um, Depending on which nuance you're clinging to currently, I don't know.
No,
There's so
that's
many.
fine.
But I think I thought about that just recently, and I was like, you know what? If we're gonna say if it qualifies the Impossible Martin scale of
I've never
the
so
first
look,
album, then
I'll
I think
say
it
it. Go
belongs
ahead.
there.
Where is it? Where does it go? Where would this album go? Is the question. That's why I said you can't just present it and not put them on the.
11 or 12.
So better than or worse than Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music because
I
that's
mean, it's
12.
it's tough. This is where it becomes tough
That's and
because
that's the
because
why
I'm being
I
asked to
posed the
compare
question.
Benny to Outkast. So it's like impossible to do it without opinion. So dealing with my preference, I would say, yeah, I would rather listen to Tana Talk 3 as a whole album rather than Southern Playlistic Cadillac Music. But I wouldn't ever argue somebody who was like, no. But yeah, for me, 11 or 12
All right, well,
above Outcast.
okay. Ed, do you agree or disagree?
On his album or my album?
No, I'm just saying on what he just
I
said on that album in that
I got
placement.
I got to re-listen to, but I'm also a biased Outkast fan. I got into like almost fist fight with Beatles fans. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how highly I think of Outkast. Ron Funches made a comment about how he'd rather listen to Outkast than the Beatles, and I agreed. And I had Paul, Ringo, John's ghost, his mama's ghost. Everyone's like related to the Beatles coming at my neck. So I mean, that's just how highly I think of Outkast.
Well, Kenny, I was gonna say, so you said Benny the Butcher, right?
Yes.
Kenny, you heard that album?
No, I have not, but I feel confident in saying that I wouldn't rank it above Southern Playalistic. Southern Playalistic is another important album in hip hop where it really kind of changed the way we look at Southern hip hop. So there's absolutely no way I'm putting Benny the Butcher above Outkast.
Can I add that, like, fully expected? Like, I understand, and I've said this
Mm-hmm.
is my opinion,
Yes.
which it's hard to, you know what I'm saying?
No,
It's
fair.
apples and oranges.
And that's
I fully expect more people to say Outkast than Benny the Butcher, just because Benny the Butcher is not, his fame level is not where Outkast is.
And
But
that
you're
is
the same
part of
space
the point.
here.
That's
but
part of
you
the
know
point
me,
of
you
the
know what I
list.
like.
But that's part of the point of the list is that it includes the fact that they did this and were famed and got some fame because of it. Because all the albums that I named on there, with the exception when you start getting to the low end of it, are albums that everybody knows for some in some way or fame or in some form or fashion. And that's what I also think is important. But your point of the opinion of it is my point in creating this whole thing is 6 years ago in 2018. This was my opinion. The only thing that has strengthened it is time. Is I did it back then. Yes,
I
Ed.
I
Five
I just
years.
I will lawyer
Oh,
up for Fuzz on this in the sense that
Mm-hmm.
if you'd have told me that these dudes from Buffalo were gonna save New York City hip hop, I probably would have laughed in your face 10 years ago. And so to his point, because it to me, that whole
Mm-hmm.
Griselda family harkens back to that, you mentioned Smith and Wesson and Black Moon and that, that Buckshot Shorty sound, for lack of a better term, or Duck Down. That's what I'm looking for. That Duck
So
Down production sound. So to his credit, I understand where he's coming from, and I also, we do got to add some new stuff. This is
well,
a
see, now that's
pretty
the other part
old
of it. I was gonna
list.
say this. It is an old list because it was once again. I started this by saying 2018, didn't
Mm-hmm.
I? So
Yeah,
this
you
was
did.
started then. So that's almost why I feel like it almost should be held to that because I haven't. And that's the thing. I haven't heard of Benny the Butcher. You said it before, but I haven't gone and
ooh,
listened to it.
Ooh,
ooh,
And and
recommend. Nah,
ooh.
I recommend.
I'm not.
Buzz,
You can.
Buzz put me
I'm
on to
not saying
Griselda.
he's good or
Listen,
bad or anything
shout
like
out to
that.
Griselda, #1 movement on the East Coast. Nobody's come
Okay.
out. No East Coast movement, collective, group, whatever you want to call them,
Mm-hmm.
doing what Griselda does, especially for people that like other regions don't know so well.
Okay.
Like Griselda's a whole thing.
Martin, if you were into MOP and like
Benny,
that whole
Benny
sound,
is
I
look,
highly
Martin. You know
recommend
what I
Griselda.
like,
I do.
Martin. You know what I like.
Yes.
Benny, and Conway the Machine go back and forth for my favorite rapper to come out in the last 10 years. And those are both Griselda guys.
Okay. And
Meanwhile, Westside Gunn is a genius in many arenas and is the worst rapper, but puts out the best albums. Like, you got to
okay.
get on Griselda. You got to get on Griselda.
I co-sign
Well,
that.
Martin, I
For
guess
sure.
that's our homework assignment after the
The
I mean,
last
podcast.
10
We're gonna go
years,
listen.
nobody's messing with them lyrically. Nobody.
that is, these are homework assignments, but it's not to the point of this. So
I know
I'll
we got sidetracked, but you need to get familiar
all
with
right,
Griselda.
but I'll say this, and this is other part of why I'm standing on it, sticking to the almost want to stay with it where the time it was from the time it was because I don't really listen to hip hop and rap like that anymore
So listen to
because
Griselda. They'll get you right back into it. They're our age. They're older guys. They're not like they are a throwback. They're like the grimy New York 90s, but from
okay,
Buffalo.
Yeah, it's not baby mama music like
No,
Future.
it's
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 it's it's when we
it's
I'm
were in
not
BU
I'm
hardcore,
not
mixtape
hardcore
type
doubting
old
stuff.
school New York. Like when I say they saved New York City hip hop, Buffalo dudes. I'm talking like
I'm
Buffalo,
not
New York, wide right
let me
Buffalo, New York.
all right
Them
let me
cats saved New York
let
City
me
hip hop.
explain it like this then. I'm not doubting that's what there are, but I've turned to more like I was listening to more like Jersey House now. I'm at the house club now. I'm where I'm not listening to where it's just that where it's just that bass and that chick. And I mean there's a it's Jersey Jungle, Jersey House where it's just that, yeah. That's where I'm almost listening to. I'm listening to that more than I am listening to rap, where I'm listening to anything. I'm going with it. I'm like, I can't hear you guys of and I'm sure if I went back to it, yeah, but they've lost that. I've moved on. I'm older now. Doesn't mean I've grown or anything like that or better, but when I look back, that was when I, came up with this list, and it's
I'd give it a
easier for me to look at
chance.
that way. But and I'm sorry I've disappointed you that way so much, but that's just me being that's the truth. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Fly God. He doesn't know what he speaks.
I will say
So
the album, some of the album titles are a little problematic. Hitler Wears Hermes is. I did a little flinching there when I saw that album title. And
I
maybe
mean,
maybe
but here's
Hitler
the
did wear
thing:
Hermes. I don't know.
was that not a variation of the Devil Wears Prada?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
fair.
he's not.
To be fair,
We're
yeah,
going the Devil, Adolf Hitler. It doesn't
that's fair.
align.
no, it does. I'm
It
not
rolls off the
questioning
tongue.
that.
I'll say that much. And he probably did wear Hermes,
He
my
was gay
pet
too, like
ass.
Diddy.
All right. As we've gotten off, I will bring this back to with the original question, which was from the list that I just listed of the 18 that we have. Kenny, do you have an album that you feel is missing, and where does it go on the list?
Ed actually kind of touched on it for a minute when he talked about boot camp quick for a minute. I think Into the Moon deserves to be on that list. That was a very big hip hop. Before Biggie started rapping for Brooklyn, it was really the boot camp click that jumped in there. Let off with Who Got the Props and How Many MCs.
Black
So
Moon was dope.
exactly.
And
So
I'll as the
Hey,
curator of said list, that's kind of why Smith and Wesson got on there, because the very first Black Moon album is like is it's not it's not Who Got the Props, which is album like 2 or 3. That's not their rookie album, but The Shining is Smith and Wesson's rookie album. So that's why they're on there. Go ahead. Yes,
well, Into the Stage is their
but
rookie album.
might I say my top boot camp click first album, Nocturnal, by a
That's a
good
dope
margin.
album.
By a good
Yes.
margin. Sean Price, rest in peace.
That's a dope album.
Yeah, it
it's a
is.
dope album.
Yeah.
I
Helter
co
Skelter is wild slept on
I
for rap duos.
So,
I
so
co-sign Enter the Stage. I thought that was their first album. If it's not, then I stand corrected. But I that's a dope album,
but
man.
if it was their first album and you were going to put them on here, where would they fit in the list as currently listed?
They're
Is the
definitely in the top
question.
15. Definitely in the top 15. In fact, I would put Into the Stage above Lupe Fiasco Food and Liquor.
Okay, it's like that's a mid-conference major. That's the 13th seed. I'm sorry, Lupe, but you're on the list for a reason. But he's there. But okay, Ed, you got any? You got any? You got another?
Yeah, I do actually. Number or Black Moon?
Oh,
Wow.
well,
I
you can put
probably.
Black Moon. I'm saying if you had another album you wanted to
Oh, I
you wanted to
do.
say.
I absolutely do. I want to know what your problem with the essays is, because Cypress Hill is nowhere here. Like that's
Oh,
that's one of the best albums, and talk about representation. Like I never heard a bunch of West Coast Latinos because they're Cuban and Mexican, it's a whole assortment, you got a lot of your food group there. But I never heard, you know, guys talking about how I could just kill a man and Latin lingo in Spanish lyrically, mwah, chef's kiss, man. Like they were cooking. And Muggs, I think again, Muggs has a very unique sound that's not even West Coast. It's very unique to them. It's very unique. It's very Latin lingo, to take a term of theirs. Like it
Mm-hmm.
just so to me, Cypress Hill, as far as where I would put it, oh, that's easy, man. Lupe Fiasco can kick push these nuts. Like, get out of here. Like,
So everybody's taking that 14 seed, so they're still down that far down then.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. They're like Saint Bonaventure. Shout out to Woj, but like they're kind of that Yale team that you don't want to play in the tournament. So I'm not gonna have them in the top 10, but I think it's just such a dope album. It's so different even for its time.
Go ahead.
All I want to
You're
say
holding a
is,
finger
if
up.
I'm done, I just want to say DJ Muggs is not a West Coast producer. It's like saying Alchemist is not a West Coast producer. DJ Muggs is a West Coast producer.
No, it's not what I meant. What I'm saying is that he has a signature sound that's his, especially with the drums and the congas, and like he's very drum driven. Shout out to Metro Boomin. But you know, it's before there was a Metro Boomin, there was a DJ Muggs, and hearing his styles with oh my God, there was Jackin. There's this guy that he's called a friend of his, Jackin, who he has a Day of the Dead album.
Sick Jackin.
Yeah, him, Sick Jackin. Yeah, it's just it's such a unique sound. You're right. It is very West Coast, very East LA.
West Coast. It's just not. It's not G Funk.
Fair. That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah,
but you get where I'm coming from.
West Coast.
It's that it's when you hear a Muggs beat, you know it's a Muggs beat. Just like same thing with Metro Boomin or you know as you mentioned, you know Dre. It's they just he has a signature sound, and as an East Coast kid, when I heard Cypress Hill, I thought they were from Queens. I thought they were like, oh, okay. And to find out they're a bunch of guys from East LA, I was like, oh, okay. And they spit in Spanish. Like, you know, for someone like me growing up first generation, that was a great, you know, my mind was blown.
Might add Be Real's, you know, possibly first like nasal rapper to blow up, go mainstream. No. Like that's not a joke whatsoever.
I know.
Nasal, like the nasal voice is
not.
Let's be real. How many people have done that? Like it's really is a thing. But but Be Real was the first one we remember doing it.
And to all the potheads out there, they were the first ones rapping about pro marijuana, not just as a recreational thing, but as a political movement. You know,
all right, certainly, because I was going to say, because you can't say that. You can't say because I was going to say because Redman will be waving a flag over here with it, like, "Hey, hi." He's talking about getting blood.
I feel like Cypress Hill was, like Ed said, on the more political side. And
yeah,
they might have. I don't know. Definitely. We'd have to check the dates. Like, I'm not sure who came out first, Redman or Cypress Hill.
Yeah,
I want to say Cypress is 90, 92, 93, Red's 91.
I remember buying Cypress Hill before I bought What the Album.
Same here.
I feel like that is true, but I'm not 100%.
Well, you look around and I'm gonna have an answer. The path is still moving. So it's still 14. And I was gonna say goes back to the opinion when I created this thing is I never felt Cypress like that. I recognized the beats, but it wasn't like it was the one track. I mean, it was the one couple the hit tracks, but going into I couldn't go through and hear the rest of that album is what it is. And that was me. That was just me. So
you about to get a cycle.
I mean, you listen to Jersey right here.
I listen to what I listen to. I listen to I listen to house music. I listen to electronic. I listen to a lot of other shit. Now that's just not that. It is what it is, you know. Hey, I gotta get calmed down. You haven't had to try and listen to calming music as you're driving across dark roads in Mississippi because you had to cover this game all the way out here and drive back home to another no place area. So yeah.
I mean, my car does not exist. You are correct. I've not had that drive. Several drives I've never had.
I'm just saying. So it's where my opinion was, but either way, that was way back when, and I never got it. I never had access to anything other than the Funky Feel ones and the ones that made MTV, the ones that they got videos to and on MTV is kind of where I got Cypress Hill from.
That's fair. And it's dope.
That first album was all right. And even the follow-up to that, the Temple of Boom.
Can we take a second to let Martin explain something?
Sure.
I want to know, being from Teaneck, New Jersey, how Das Effects first album you haven't even brought up. I mean, you're supposed to be from the neck. Explain, please.
I just listened to that album recently too again.
Talking about Jersey,
still a great
that, but we put the pin on Teaneck.
I will say you can hear the answers to that and more podcasts, like when I'm reporting from the high school press box every Friday night with game notes and quotes that didn't quite make the full game story in the Cobb Football Friday section of the Marietta Daily Journal. That's the Friday night press box. Watch the video on YouTube or listen to Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. And as I take that live read, we'll be back in a sec. And we're back, and I will answer the question that I left hanging before as to why DOS Effects Dead Serious didn't make this list. As you said, DOS Effects is from my hometown. One of the songs on the album is called Brooklyn to Teaneck, and I'm from Teaneck, New Jersey. And that's why I didn't put it on the list, because I didn't think there'd be anybody else that would know that album, that would know the songs like Dead Serious, like Just the Men, and all the things that did come from that. That Eric Sermon produced that whole style, the whole diggity diggity and all that stuff like that, that has stuck around. And the speed rap that they use, which is a whole different style than others had used then as well. I didn't know if it was influential enough to make the list that I was trying to make it the top of the list. If anything, they would have been towards the bottom, and I didn't want to, I could have put them down there as fodder, but who wants to be, I didn't want them, let me rephrase that. I didn't want them to be the
You didn't want them to be jobbers. You didn't put it in Russell terms. You didn't want them to be jobbers.
The St. Lawrence,
no enhancement
Providence Tech.
Yeah.
You're in at the bottom. You're in at the bottom of this tournament. You're the 20 seed. You're not winning this. You're gonna get in. You might get a first round upset, but you're not winning it. Yeah,
well, that might be like the Gonzaga of the tournament. You know, they may at least get to the Sweet 16.
But they're not. They weren't a 12. That's the whole thing. They'd have to be like this. What?
Yes. You said you don't have any enhancement talent, any jobbers, but isn't Lupe Fiasco like the Coco Beware of this pay-per-view? Like, you know, he's gonna job to King Kong Bundy
in 8 seconds.
Again, I
just look, he can kick push out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Backpack kids like them, white boys like them, but like, I'm just saying.
But and the Lupe's on there because he was able to take that kick push and that whole jobber and push it nationwide and get everybody on that same stick. That I don't feel DOS Effects had that same influence. I don't think there are people out. I at the time, and I still don't to this day feel that DOS Effects gets the respect they would, as opposed to Lupe, who still gets chances. And that's the difference.
Lupe Fiasco is beefing with Kid Cudi. That's like impossible meat beef. I'm just saying. You already have a jobber in there. I'm just saying, you could have put your hometown peoples in there.
You guys are kept, but I want to say I do find it interesting. Everybody has attacked Lupe Fiasco and gone in the double digits. So it seems as if the top 10 is untouched as of now. So I'll ask again, and I've gone around. Ken, I'll come to you. Do you have an album that should be on this list, and where would they go on the list is the question. So do you have anything?
Well, other than Enter the Stage, one album, and I'm pretty sure we probably won't be able to get it on there, but I feel like technically it is a debut album, but I feel like Mecca and the Soul Brothers should really be on this list. And it makes me sick that it's not on there, even though technically they dropped the EP, the EP before the album. But I just feel like Mecca and the Soul Brothers is a debut album. It's an important album in hip hop, and it should be there.
Pete Rock is important in hip hop. You're gonna have to really try and stress me to tell me CL Smooth is worthy of as a lyricist of being on
underrated
lyricist,
some lyrics, very underrated lyricist.
Whole album worth of CL Smooth, whole album.
Yes, absolutely.
Yo, I'm dying. Buzz's head is about to explode. Like, can you just turn
it? What?
Nothing.
I know the dude that bigs up Jules Santana is not talking about CL Smooth. We are not going to have this conversation.
Oh, man.
Joel Santana?
Where did Santana come from?
Oh, I thought he was downplaying I thought he was downplaying CL Smooth.
I'm
Because
not
CL
down.
Smooth is a very underrated lyricist.
I'm not saying he's
Well,
not.
might I point out, Martin was down playing CL Smooth with me.
I was. Oh, that's
I
like
think
saying CL Smooth has got a couple of tracks where he is worthy of being talked about. There's not as many of those tracks, and I would say certainly on Mecca and the Soul Brother, there's not as many of those tracks to be worthy of being added to this list. And even see, because I would look at it and say, well, then
oh, I don't
yeah.
know. For Pete's sake, straighten it out. Of course, Troy, the basement, skins. That's from beginning to end.
Hmm.
I don't have. I mean, I like CL Smooth, but I don't. I mean, I'm not gonna diss him like Lupe Fiasco. Like that just would be mean. But
So
like,
where
I just
so the question as I posed it, so where it would Mecca and the Soul Brother be on the seedings? Where would they get seated in?
Definitely above food liquor. Maybe top 20, not necessarily top 15, but top 20.
Well, it's just 18. This is this list here. This I'm talking about this list
Okay,
right
top
here.
18.
The number I had. So you're saying it's better than License to Ill by the Beastie Boys?
Yes, I would say
oh
that.
stop it! No,
I would
no,
say it's better
no!
than License to Ill.
Oh stop it!
And I love License to Ill, but if I had to choose between License to Ill and Mecca and the Soul Brother, I'm taking Mecca and the Soul Brother.
Ooh, okay.
No,
I would
no.
my argument and my argument is the fact that the reason, but that's a whole separate argument as to why everybody got listed in this. That's a separate conversation, which I'm sorry nobody's talked about, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just moving along. I'm it's been heard. How about that? I can't co-sign anything other than Pete Rock is a absolute pillar of hip hop and should be recognized as such. That's about as far as I go with this with no doubt. I'm
You
sorry.
know, it's very rare that the producer's carrying the show and the talent. Like, it's usually like Eric B and Rakim. Like Rakim's carrying, Eric B. Eric B may
Basically.
have
And
ghost produced, but like
and
Pete
that's
Rock,
almost why well, that's
I,
why
I,
Peyton Fool's lower down because Eric B's kind of dead weight is,
it's
it's
you know, it's just yeah, I can't co-sign that, man. I'm
Rakim
not.
just didn't want to get shot.
There's that too.
Otherwise, we would
Uh,
just know Rakim.
basically
there
basically
is that. Paid in
and it's
full is a
old
real
enough, but it's
thing.
back when, but that's a whole separate conversation because that's back when you had to have you it was an MC and a DJ. It goes, what I mean? It wasn't just you couldn't just be an MC, but it was back enough where you had the DJ because there's too many listen to my DJ shout out my DJ and all stuff like that just goes back to
Yo,
old
I'm
school
a
hip hop,
I'm
which
not
lets
trying.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm not trying to be mean, but I'd actually rather listen to Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff's first album
Can we
over Pete Rock's first album.
listen?
I,
Can we
I'm
talk
I'm
about
I'm
that's
I'm gonna keep it a buck.
legitimately a great first album?
Yes, it
Rock
is.
the House, Rock the House by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh
And the Fresh
Prince.
Prince. Mm-hmm.
No, that
That
is
album's
like
dope.
I'm
No, it
I
not.
put it
isn't.
over
No, it
Lupe.
isn't.
I would definitely put it
Oh,
No,
over
it isn't.
Lupe.
that
I
was
I
hate
a
to say it,
dope.
I
but I would
think
put it
No,
I
it
over
and
isn't.
Mecca
I
and the
and go
Soul
ahead,
Brother.
Katie,
No,
because
it isn't.
their first album,
Mecca and the Soul Brother is just a song that belongs on a song list.
their very first album is good, but it doesn't have the hits that are to come from Fresh Prince, and I don't think they ever get as much credit as the
Let's
rappers
not
that
forget
they
Parents Just Don't
were.
Understand was on Rock the House.
Nah, Paris Don't Understand was on He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper.
After it
Yeah.
was on Rock the House.
Rock the House had Girls in the World Ain't Nothing But Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But Parents Just Don't Understand was on He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper.
You might be right.
That one has that one has
But
I
I
think I could
still
beat Mike
put Rock the
Tyson,
House above it.
which is the funniest song, which is the funniest rap song in the history of rap songs, as far as I'm concerned. But they and Summertime's an absolute classic, and that
Ready
doesn't
Oh,
talk
of
about
Roxy
course.
beatbox the Sanford and Son theme
Yeah,
and the podcast.
yeah, yeah. I'm saying Will Smith, like he get a lot of disrespect and whatnot, but yo, dude was pretty good back in the day. He's
He
like,
beatboxed he beatboxed the Sanford and Son theme underwater also,
yeah,
and the podcast.
Well, in that part of it. So yeah, Pete Rock and CL Smooth and Mecca and the Soul Brothers been heard. And can't go anything further than that. But did you have another album that you wanted to add to it? And remember, you got to put it on the list. Or you done? Or no, you're waving for those listening on the podcast. The universal sign of a hand being waved away from the microphone means he's done. Ed, do you have another album and a placement on the list?
sure, I absolutely do. I would actually take out Black Sheep, and it's probably gonna be a polarizing one, but I would put Third Base, the Cactus album there. I think that's a much better album than Black Sheep. I love the Black Sheep album. Similar Child is one of my favorite tracks from that era. But I just think Third Base was dope. We were just talking about the Beasties and the disrespect they get. Third Base doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even get mentioned as
I
one of those original hip hop groups.
At all, at all.
Yeah, we don't talk about Third Base like
But
we really should.
Yeah, what? Yes, bro. Yes, bro.
Listen, on the Third Base family tree.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Splitting Atoms, Main Source's first joint, and
Seven Love
KMD's
X.
first joint.
Yep.
I really have to say, even though Third Base was the one that got them and brought them up there, and they had the gas face and all that, but if we're talking what I'd rather listen to, I would rather listen to Main Source or KMD's first album.
That's fair.
More
That's
than
fair.
Third Base.
That's fair. I just think with, like I said, with Third Base, and part of it, you know, this is about opinion and music is about emotion. That takes me back to an era like of just that I used to, that's my video music boxes. I remember watching the
I feel
Gas
you. I feel
Face.
you on that. And the gas face. I'm not now the gas face
Step
because
into the
I
AM
did
is dope.
have
Brooklyn
you.
Queens. You were just talking about house music. Brooklyn Queens is a dope house music track within that album. And so the production is dope. I again, it doesn't have the influence maybe of a Beastie Boys, but it just for that, it was a New York sound of that place and time. And
Yes,
I put that over Das
definitely.
Effects. I put that over P Rock and CO Smooth. And I'll put that over Black Sheep as polarizing as that may be. That's the one I would probably put it in
You know
that
what?
position.
Honestly, I wouldn't consider that to be as polarizing because really thinking about it, Black Sheep's first album was solid, but other than really, Flavor of the Month and The Choice Is Yours, Third Base's first album has more hits. Like you said, Brooklyn Queens,
Yes,
Step to the
but
AM, Gas Face. Yeah,
but
so I don't think that's polarizing.
And
it's
I'll
not
go
that
one better.
polarizing.
I think lyrically, Pete Nice is better than dude from Black Sheep.
Than
Again,
Drez.
that's just that's just how I feel. Ditto. That's just me. I'd rather have Pete Nice or MC Search over Dress. And I love Black Sheep. One of the first tapes
My,
I ever bought.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of the epitome of the lesser of two evils with this argument.
they are at the bottom. First off, they are at the
I mean, is it
bottom
worth
of
arguing?
they're at the bottom of this list because you guys are everybody's poking at Lupe Fiasco and Black Sheep, and that's once again, these are the automatic in the old school tournament style. Those are the automatic bid schools, the one and done schools, the one and done conference schools is what y'all are describing that. Go ahead,
Let me
Fuzz.
just keep it positive. I just
Okay.
feel moved to say this. We've all been, not just me, we've all been kind of like Lupe Fiasco, see it. As somebody who's worked security for several years for several artists, I would say Lupe Fiasco is one of the coolest rap artists I've ever done security for. So I don't want to because he was wild cool. Believe me, most rappers not cool. So I really don't want to make this negative on Lupe. Salute to Lupe, great person. I'm not sure his first album belongs on here.
Well,
yeah, it should be on this list.
I'm
it is
surprised.
an opinion.
I'm surprised more people didn't pick on 50 Cent. I don't know if it's fear of getting clowned on or shot at. I thought for whatever reason people would try to peck at him. I will say about Get Rich or Die Trying based on your rules. Power of Money was his first real album that he got shot, then Columbia dropped him, and so that mixtape
That
era, this
that is
mixtape
that
Was
era
a
of
major
hearing
that's
label
what it
album.
was, a mixtape. It was a mixtape. That's really what it
No,
was. It wasn't.
but that's why we kept Kendrick out. You said that was a mixtape. Like, is it Uchiwali or is it Black Girl Lost? What are we doing here, Rudo Rep?
Well, technically,
Power of a
the Power of the
Dollar was,
Dollar
I
wasn't
believe,
released.
JMJ
It's
Records.
considered unreleased, and Columbia has no plans to ever release the album. So, and I thought about that too. So technically, it wasn't released. So that means that Get Rich or Die Trying actually is his debut album.
And don't get me wrong, that's one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, I was actually just at a store where they were playing What Up Gangsta. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to diss 50. Like, that's one of the most complete albums, I think, of this century. And so I'm not trying, but I actually thought people would try to take shots at 50, no pun intended.
I thought about it too. Same thing because of that Power of the Dollar, but realizing that it was unreleased, it made sense.
I'll say this: Jay-Z fans will fight me to the end, but there was a window where 50 ran New York.
No, it
God,
absolutely
yes.
was.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
No,
Are you
but
kidding me?
listen, your borough
Absolutely.
argued with me to no end, Ed.
No, you're right. My brother,
Your boy
my brother,
Steve
Yeah.
my
argued
boy
with me to
Steve,
no
yeah.
end.
Shout out to Mr. Black. Yes,
Told
absolutely.
me I
And
liked trash can music, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
yo, brother
Yet,
Will,
meanwhile, 50 was running his city.
brother Will. Brother Will got on Ray and Nephew. This is how hard body of a Jay-Z fan he is. Brother Will got drunk on Ray and Nephew and wanted to fist fight me because I said that Eminem had a better verse than Jay-Z. That's how hard body my brother
Which
is
verse?
about the Eminem verse. I
In
think Eminem
On
is
Renegade,
better.
Renegade?
Period. In Renegade. In
yeah,
Renegade.
Oh, for sure.
And
M
he was
rips him. Rips
he
the
was
Well,
track.
Ray
Are you
and
kidding
Nephew will
me?
make well technically Ray and Nephew will make you fist fight over anything. So that's not a surprise he went to
that's a
fist
good
fight
point.
you.
Bro, the only reason he can get up and try to kick my ass is because he stumbled over his unlaced fucking Timbs. That's the only reason.
I
But
see
yo,
Will drunk. He should try to stop fighting when he's drunk. People don't
All right.
know. Let me let y'all know. Drunk, not the time to fight.
Right.
that's when you
No.
throw them
Oh.
noodle punches. Like, yeah.
Just don't
Right.
fight. Just cool out.
Oh man.
All right. And this seems a good place to close. So we'll close with a trivia question about what the joke I started with, which I still find funny. And I will say it again because I really didn't know that Black Rob died homeless. And that's
Whoa.
just whoa. Because whoa, I made fun of the track, but I love the production on that track, and that's Buck Wild, and that's 2000. And that reminds me of my youth. That takes me back because I'm just like, how that was a track. I remember that track, and I was like, it's literally just the chorus. We just gonna loop around because it sounded so great. But it sounded great enough to reach the top 10 back when R&B and rap charts meant something. But it also reached the Billboard Hot 100, which kind of still means something. Whoa by Black Rob peaked at what number on the Billboard Hot 100? I'll start with you, Ed.
Hot 100 overall genres or Hot 100 like, hip hop
Billboard
R&B?
Hot 100. Whoa.
Overall. Okay. Whoa. I will say
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess number 30. And with that, I will say Griselda's better than Black Rock. I'm just gotta throw that out for whatever reason.
It's 30.
But I'm gonna go 30. Lucky number 30 for me.
Fuzz.
Me personally, I'm gonna need you to repeat the question.
Whoa by Black Rob peaked at this number on the Billboard Hot 100 back in 2000 when it came out. What number did
Highest
it
it ever
peak at?
got?
Highest it ever got. And Ed's
9.
already gone with 30.
9.
You're gonna go with 9.
Why not?
Kenny,
I'm gonna go with 15.
15. Well, sorry, I'm looking for it. The trivia answer will be in the description for this episode. I'd like to thank all of my guests for stopping by and listening to my live read in person and stopping in to listen to talk about hip hop. Thank you guys very much. I wish y'all safe travels on whichever your highway takes you. Thank you for listening. and good night.